You are listening to an MLGA Network podcast. Betty bought a bit of butter, but she found the butter bitter, so Betty bought a bit of better butter to make the bitter butter better.
What?
How has Harry hastened so hurriedly from the hunt?
Wait, what did Harry do?
Vincent vowed vengeance vehemently.
Seriously, what the are you talking about?
Moses supposes his toes are roses, but Moses supposes erroneously, for nobody's toes are posies of roses as Moses supposes his toes to be.
I'm done with this. I'm done.
Theophilus Thistler, the thistle sifter, in sifting a sieve of unsifted thistles, thrust 3,000 thistles through the thick of his thumb.
Alright, well, while you're over there having a stroke, I'm gonna go find some crowns to eat.
The tip of the tongue, the teeth, the lips. The tip of the tongue, the teeth, the lips. The tip of the tongue, the teeth, the lips. The tip of the tongue, the teeth, the lips. The tip of the tongue, the teeth, the lips. The tip of the tongue, the teeth, the lips. Welcome to Make Liberty Great Again, the best damn Liberty podcast that you've never heard of. Phil and I will be your guides as we peer into the ridiculous reality of our society and our government. Let's get to it. Hi everyone, thanks for tuning in to today's episode of Make Liberty Great Again, Liberty Strikes Back. I'm your host Cam Harless, and joining me today is my co-host Phil Padilla.
Hey buddy, let's get this party started.
Well, I am just happier than a pig in poop right now. Let's just jump right into it.
Sounds good to me, weirdo. What do you have for us today?
Well, you want me to be honest with you?
Yeah.
I'm annoyed.
Well, going back to, do you want me to be honest with you? Was your first instinct to lie to me?
Usually. I don't like to tell the truth to cops or soldiers, so I mean.
That's fair. All right.
Agents of the
I'll
state,
allow it.
you know. Uh-huh.
I deserve that.
Well, honestly, I'm annoyed because of this Andrew Yang guy. We mentioned him in episode 1. He's one of the Democrats that's already thrown his hat into the ring for as a presidential candidate. And, well, really, it's not him. It's not so much him as it is the online libertarians that are just propping this commie up.
Now, he's that tech guy that's an advocate for universal basic income, right?
Yeah, that's the guy. The guy who's pushing to give everyone $1,000 a month.
Well, that sounds like commie bullshit, but okay.
So, you know me pretty well at this point. We've been friends for what? 3 years, 4 years, something like that.
Quite a while.
But you know how much I love memes and trolling, right? You know how much of my time I spend just kind of screwing with people.
Yeah, it's almost like you're part Russian.
Right, yeah. But, okay, so with this Andrew Yang thing, I'm just at a complete loss. They're supportive of him. I'm not sure if it's a meme or if it's satire, but have you seen his hashtag? Hashtag Yang Gang.
Yang Gang? Yeah, I've seen it.
Well, I've seen libertarians throwing it around like it's a free $1,000 a month.
I'd say they can't be serious, but if 2016 taught us anything, I'm pretty sure they're serious.
Right, and I thought there's no way they're serious, but I can't. I'm not so sure anymore. I mean, there are a lot of they call themselves collapsitarians, and a lot of these guys out there seem to think that propping up this guy is actually somehow a good idea. And I don't get it.
Ooh, collapsitarian sounds edgy. But well, at least hopefully he's good on war.
I mean, you'd think that would be the number one thing they'd talk about, like, oh hey, this candidate is better than the others because he's good on war. He doesn't want to kill more children, but
or Doctors Without Borders.
Right. One Nobel Peace Prize winner bombing another. But no, I mean, he did, I think it was actually today, he tweeted about being against regime change and endless war, but he had to be asked. He had to be pressed on it. It's not like something he's known for. And, all these libertarians are talking about the frickin' $1,000 a month. I mean, they don't even mention, I don't know, some important things like his stance on war or his stance on guns.
I mean, that's got to be a troll. I mean, they can't just be going around like, "Hey, everyone, go talk to this guy. He wants to give everybody $1,000. We got to back him."
I mean, if they didn't argue for it as much as they did, I would agree. This is definitely a troll. I mean, it has to be Poe's law. The law that says when people's what's the word I'm looking for?
Stance.
Arguments or stances are so crazy that you can no longer tell if it's satire or not anymore. I think that might have something to do with it, but I mean, these people seem deadly serious about it. A lot of the common thread in a lot of these arguments is this like deep sense of defeatism. Like their thoughts are that regardless of how bad this dude is, how bad he is on guns, how bad he is on economics, that he isn't worse than anyone else, and that's, hey, we'll get $1,000 out of it. I know there are some out there that are using it as satire to show how easily votes can be bought. I mean, I hope, but the argument really does ring too true for many that I've come across.
Yeah, but I mean, his tweets are out there. I mean, they're visible for everybody to see. They have to have read his tweets at some point. I mean, they have to know that he's anti-gun, and what's more libertarian than gun rights?
I can't think of anything.
Well, neither can I, and it's a pretty important topic for me. I'm a pretty strong supporter of gun rights and the Second Amendment. So let me just read a couple excerpts, a couple things that stood out to me as horrifying from this little commie. So the first coming from February 15th of last year, and it says, "There is no practical reason for citizens to have assault weapons." Again, with that frickin' term, assault weapons, the dumbest term ever. We need to treat gun ownership... Yeah, I mean, seriously, it's just a buzzword. We need to treat gun ownership as an awesome privilege and responsibility and regulate accordingly. Well, at least he recognizes that it's awesome. So, and then he goes on to say, "Guns are more deadly than cars, and we take tests to get driver's licenses." But I wonder if he knows. I'm just going to guess that he doesn't know that most gun deaths are suicides. But hey, I mean, what good are statistics when you can just appeal to everyone's inner dum-dum?
I mean, I don't know if I have anything more than guttural sounds for tweets like that.
Yeah, I feel you on that one. It's just, there's not a whole lot you could say with just gibberish like that. But, then again, here's another one. In October of last year, he tweeted, "I'd start fining gun manufacturers $1 million for each person killed by their weapons. That would get more companies focused on how to keep guns out of the hands of those who would do others harm." But how the hell are they supposed to know, these gun companies, how are they supposed to know the intent of a would-be purchaser? Like, does the guy at the gun counter at the local gun store ask? Like, hey, or is that a box you have to check? Do you intend to harm others? Check yes or no or maybe. And if maybe, there's a box where it says explain more. Like, what? How do they plan to enforce that?
It's like that magical box on the application for the U.S. government to give guns to rebel factions over in the Middle East. If they hit that moderate Muslim, moderate rebel check mark, they're good. We know they're good. They check the box. But let me ask, the $1 million that goes out, does that, to the victims, does that count when cops shoot someone, or the dogs that cops shoot? Like, are they covered by that $1 million?
Probably not. And what's really ambiguous about that text is he just says that I'd start fining gun manufacturers $1 million for each person killed by their weapons. So that means that, let's say 13 people get killed, that's $13 million, but that's going to the government. What's the government going to do with that money? Are they going to dole it out to the victims, or are they just going to throw that in their slush funds for bombing countries for literally no reason?
Right, and don't American gun manufacturers make guns for the military?
Right.
So,
right.
So every insurgent that gets shot, they get fined $1 million for that too. I mean, this, depending on how literal this dip is, this would just put gun makers out of business.
Yeah, I mean that's probably the goal. I mean that seems to be what they're going for these days. Is they're coming after the guns, but I digress. So finally, here's more of a recent one, and to me, it's the most infuriating. And let me see if you can take a guess why. On March 12th, this guy named Alex tweeted, "If it weren't for the fact that he's pro-gun confiscation, I would probably be on board with #YangGang2020 train, excuse me." Our boy Yang responded, "Confiscating guns from private homes is unrealistic."
Wow.
You said it, partner.
Just
wow is right.
Well, so his problem isn't that stealing guns from normal, everyday folks is wrong, nor is it that people, police included, would be murdered so that he could get people's guns away, but that it's unrealistic.
Right. My takeaway is that he's okay with tyranny as long as it's feasible.
And I actually tweeted this on our account, but I put it in here because I need to actually say it out loud. But anyone who wants to take or regulate firearms using the state is your enemy, pure and simple. There's nothing they could say that could absolve them of this villainy. The act of pushing for and enacting these policies is tantamount to initiating violence against peaceful people.
Yeah, you won't find an argument for me. I agree.
Well, that guy. I really hope it's a joke. I mean, I really hope that the idea that he isn't any worse than anyone else and that you might as well get $1,000 out of it is just a joke. I mean, I'll be honest, at this point, I can't even imagine being excited about, much less campaigning for a presidential candidate.
Right. Let's just hope that he keeps saying more silly things and just kind of fades into obscurity. That's my hope. But, speaking of dummies, our girl Sandy never disappoints. This commie, she is a real headline magnet, as I like to say.
Well, cool, weak segue, bro. Go on.
Sorry. I'll work on that. Sorry about that. But anyway, Comrade Not from the Bronx's chief of staff, Saikat Chakrabarti.
I'm going to say Saikat Chakrabarti.
That's not really that different from what I said, so we'll split the difference. So
let's call him Sai.
Sai. All right. I was going to say SC, but Sai works. So Sai, as we'll affectionately refer to him, reportedly stashed away over $1 million in political donations. $1 million. Now, the donations are said to have come in from two political action committees founded by this, degenerate. And he's accused of funneling the funds into two of his own private companies.
Well, so much for AOC's promise to reduce the influence of dark money.
Yeah, I mean, a politician full of crap. I mean, who would have thought?
Frickin' degens.
Friggin' degens from upstate New York. But according to the Washington Examiner, I was reading over this article, and they were kind of giving a little rundown. And so the companies, it seems like the companies were set up so with the intention to kind of sidestep certain reporting requirements for funds. And there's also some allegations floating around about violating the $5,000 limit on contributions from federal political action committees, to candidates. Now, I think we all know and can somewhat agree and meet in the middle that, campaign finance laws are, can be pretty vague and confusing, but there are some campaign finance attorneys out there who's saying that there's totes something fishy going on here, okay? They've stated that there isn't a way to tell where the donations went and what they are potentially used for. And right. That's what stinks about this whole thing.
Right, and in case you didn't know, PACs are actually required to disclose any and all information about how and when funds are spent. So, I mean, that includes advertisements and literally any other expenditures. But the companies by SI are not required to report that information for some reason.
And I've just about had it with these democratic socialists and their phony baloney. They pander to all the lazy, entitled gangs of kids who have got a serious case of the gimme gimmes, ranting and raving about the 1% and rich people that, and capitalism this, but they always show their true colors in the end. Bernie's a millionaire sellout who has like 42 different homes, and then now we find out that the new poster child for smashing the bourgeoisie has a frickin' slush fund. So these authoritarians prop themselves up on the backs of these useful idiots, and they're really just in it for the money and power. I mean, they can't make it any more obvious. I don't know how it's not obvious to more people, and how anybody votes or supports these people at all.
Well, do you feel a little better now that you got that out of your system?
No. Quite frankly, I'll tell you, I would prefer if they walk through a mile of Legos barefoot. But now I feel better, and thanks for asking.
Well, it's my turn to vent again, if that's all right with you.
I'll allow it.
Well, according to CNN, the Connecticut Supreme Court ruled Thursday that families of Sandy Hook victims can continue their year-long lawsuit against... Wait, didn't we just talk about this? Gun manufacturers.
What the
This new ruling stipulates that the families can pursue one of their specific claims in the case. The claim is that Remington knowingly marketed the AR-15 for use to carry out offensive military-style combat missions against their perceived enemies. The ruling also stated that state law doesn't allow for advertisements that encourage criminal behavior. And the only thing I can think of, and I'm pretty sure they're referring to, is an advertisement that shows a soldier holding a rifle, and the caption said something like, "When under pressure, Bushmaster delivers."
Right, and I think from that advertisement he was like standing in the jungle or something, and there's some kind of dramatic backdrop, but again, nothing about the advertisement screams out to me, "Hey kids, shoot your mom in the head 4 times, steal her car, steal her weapons, and then go kill a bunch of your classmates." I'm not getting that from the advertisement.
Right, and I mean, not only is it just ridiculous in and of itself, but I mean, it's a dangerous precedent. I mean, how can the manufacturers of firearms be held legally responsible for the illegal actions of other people? I mean, should the manufacturer of his mother's car be held responsible just because he was able to drive it to the school? I mean, they weren't even his weapons. He took them from his mom's home after he murdered his mother. I mean, just to reiterate, nothing he did was legal. But that is somehow the fault of Remington for some arbitrary advertisement the victims' families are interpreting as a dog whistle for murderers. I mean, due to federal laws, people have no way to seek damages against vaccine manufacturers. And this is when they're directly injured by a vaccine. However, someone can now steal a gun, use it criminally, and then the victim can get a payout from the gun manufacturer. I mean, how does the government even decide who they are going to quote unquote protect?
Well, I think it's what's a better story to sell? I mean, it's all just a game of feels and narrative, you know what I mean? Like, they've already sold most people on vaccines, so questioning vaccines at all is heresy.
Right.
And now it's time to go after guns. So, I mean, we don't mean to sound callous about the little disclaimer here about this issue, but I mean, it all just seems so ridiculous. I mean, we all agree what happened is horrifying and awful, obviously, but can we just maybe not let reason be drowned out by emotional activism? I mean, that would be a nice change of pace.
Right. I mean, and speaking of a nice change of pace, the Senate did something right.
Ooh, you like that segue, didn't you, buddy?
It was a hella good segue, and you know it.
Yep. I got you. I told you I'd make it up to you.
Oh man, this is why I love you.
Thank you. Love
But
you
yeah,
too.
the Senate did something right.
I don't believe you. You're gonna have to elaborate.
No, really, I mean, it actually seems like they did something right.
All right. I'll bite. What did they do?
Well, they voted to stop propping up the Saudi war in Yemen, just on Wednesday.
I'm gonna take things that didn't happen for 1,000, Trebek.
I mean, no, really, it happened. I mean, it also looks like, from all the reports, I mean, it looks like it's going to pass the House as well. Of course, it'll probably be Trump's second veto. I mean, you saw that he had his first.
Right. Right, yeah. This is his second now. He finally dipped his toes in those waters, today when he shot down Congress in their effort to block his emergency declaration. You know what really sucks about that, besides everything, is he referred to the veto as his duty. I mean, vomit. Excuse me. But, a border wall. What a stupid idea. Anyways, I'm sorry. What were you saying?
Well, I mean, it pains me what I'm about to say. I mean, it hurts. But I'm just going to say it.
All right.
Bernie Sanders,
Oh,
your
God.
favorite bobblehead, said, and I quote, "The United States Congress is going to reassert its constitutional responsibility over issues of war that have been abdicated for presidents, Democrats and Republicans, for too many years." Bernie Sanders said that.
Yeah, that's nice, and it sounds good, but, I mean, we're talking about the guy who voted for the second Iraq War. To fund it, excuse me.
Yeah, he did vote to fund it. I mean, after he voted against the war.
What if...
I
So
mean,
a flip-flop.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a touch shady no matter what. And I think he just wants to look anti-war rather than actually being anti-war. I mean, how else can you explain that? No, I don't want to go to war. 10 minutes later, here's all the money you need to go to war. Like, that's some kind of principle. But yeah, hey, if this vote could stop the fighting in Yemen and help bring an end to the starvation and the cholera epidemic that has killed hundreds of thousands at this point, I'm all for him pandering because he hates Trump.
That's fair. That's a fair point. I'll take it. But, tell me this. Did our boy Rand, did he vote to end this too? Did he agree on it?
Every now and then I get to not be disappointed in Rand Paul.
Mm-hmm.
Which, when he first came out, I was like, Rand. But I mean,
Right.
some of his decisions, man. But yeah, no, this is one of those that I actually get to be, proud of a Paul again. I love it. But yeah, no, he did actually vote to end the proxy war in Yemen. Of course, the other senator from Kentucky, Mitch McConnell, actually encouraged lawmakers on Wednesday to oppose the Yemen resolution, calling it inappropriate and counterproductive.
Of course he did. He's a war hawk and an establishment hack. But I have a feeling they didn't listen to him, though.
Damn right they didn't. 7 Republicans told McConnell to himself. I'd like to actually read out their names, which I'm going to give props where they're due. But so the Republicans that decided to go against Trump in this and against John Bolton and every other terrible person. Okay, so Mike Lee of Utah, Susan Collins of Maine, Steve Daines of Montana, Jerry Moran,
I think it's
of
Moran.
Kansas.
We'll say Moran.
Moran, I like Moron, but I mean, I guess he's in the good side this time, so whatever.
That's a little too on the nose.
Lisa Murkowski of Alaska, our boy Rand, and Todd Young of Indiana.
All right. Shout out to them for being on the right side of this. But let's hope Rand still has the ability to, maybe whisper into the president's ear so that the nightmare over there might come to an end. That's what I hope for.
By the grace of God we go.
And for our listeners, if you're not, familiar or up to date with the conflict over there in Yemen, we're going to link a pretty succinct article in today's show notes that gives a Cliff Note version of the war in Yemen. It's a nice little 400-word article. It gets you caught up to speed on what's going over there. So it's a real nice, quick read. And that'll be in the show notes for you today.
Cool.
But moving on now. There's we got a new member of the Democratic clown car, my friend.
I know. I don't even want to hear about it.
Well, too bad. Our friend Beto, the man who lost the Senate race.
Is it Beto, or Beto? Because I've heard Beto and I've heard Beto.
Isn't his name Robert?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Yeah, Beto.
Can we get a fact check? Let's do a fact check. What is Beto's first name? Yeah, his name's Robert Francis O'Rourke. Okay, Francis. So I'm gonna call him Franny. So anyway, our friend Franny, the man who lost to none other than Ted Cruz, thinks that he's actually going to beat Donald Trump in a 2020 presidential race.
Yeah, this giant walking set of human teeth is going against Donald Trump. I mean, his whole campaign, his whole shtick is so freaking contrived. Like, I mean, the dude's going by Beto. He's pretending that or Beto, or whatever. He's pretending that he is ethnic. And, I mean, that dude is just about as Mexican as I am.
Right. He's a total, bought and paid for political actor. He's just, a puppet getting his strings pulled. But I'm going to have to say you're probably more Mexican than he is.
and you're just saying that because I had tacos tonight.
Yeah, true that. But anyway, after Franny said over and over and over again that he would not be running, that his family deserved his time and energy, and that he would definitively not run for the presidency, we found out that was just a lie.
It's always good to start off your campaign by breaking a promise to your wife and kids. I mean, like, if you actually listen to some of the sound bites of him talking about it, I mean, he talks about, we've been doing this campaign against Ted Cruz for 2 years. I didn't get to spend much time with my kids or my wife. And really, after this is over, after this race is over, I'm going to go back to being a dad. And it's like, oh, wait, I could be president? Never mind. Screw you, kids. Screw you, wife. I'm going to do what I want. But I mean, really, the dude couldn't beat Ted Cruz. Yeah. He won't. He won't beat Trump.
Now, you see, I know that, and you know that, but does Franny know that?
Probably not. But really, I just hope that Lindsay Lohan announces her candidacy soon.
Oh my God, yes, please. Lindsay Lohan and Paris Hilton for the 2020 ticket. Please let this happen. But I just can't wait to see the media creation of this candidate lose again. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Amen. But now's time, I think, for the fun part of the show. Do you have a game for us? I know how great mine was last week, but can you beat me?
You set the bar pretty high, partner. But I definitely do. I do have a game, and this time you're going to be the one playing, and I'm going to be one calling the shots.
Hey, I'm game. Hey.
That's a really bad pun, but whatevs. So here's what's going to happen, buddy. I'm going to read you a feminist term, and you're going to guess the definition. Okay? Are you ready?
Lord, bear me strength.
And here we go. Now, I'm going to start off with some easy ones. We're going to ease into it, and then we're going to go off the frickin' deep end, buddy.
Okay.
So here's number one. The term is patriarchy.
That would be the reigning champs and I'm not a football guy. I'm just it's a joke about the Patriots. Moving on. It's how men control everything and subjugate women.
That's basically, it is a hierarchical structured society in which men hold more power. So you're basically right on the money. Okay. Next term. Again, we're going to start off with another easy one. Get you warmed up. Sexism.
That sexism is when I look at a woman.
Basically, it's the idea that women are inferior to men.
Oh, I mean, those are facts.
Science. So
They've got. Never mind.
okay. Yeah, let's not get taken off the air already, buddy. Take it easy over there.
I was
All right.
gonna quote Anchorman.
Nope. All right. Two more easy ones. All right. Next one is misogyny.
Misogyny is the hatred of women.
Perfect. Next, last easy one, misandry.
Fake, not real, not a thing. Okay. All right. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. You showed me.
All right.
Yep.
Men cannot be
okay.
sexisted against. Okay.
Yep. Yep. Okay. All right. So here we go. So, I even love how the article I'm looking at says a little deeper before it goes into these terms.
If that's what you can call it.
Oh my God. Okay. So I'm gonna kind of lead you into this
Okay.
one. So hostile sexism is the one most people think about. It's openly insulting, objectifying, and degrading women.
Yes.
So, with that in mind, what do you think benevolent sexism is?
That would be. I'll answer honestly. I'll actually answer honestly. That's gonna be like the guy. I would say it's probably somewhat tied to chivalry. Like, let's help the lady out. I love the ladies. I'm gonna white knight for the ladies because they need me.
Ooh, you know what? That's not bad. So, according to whatever the hell I'm reading, kind of seems like a compliment, even though it's rooted in men's feelings of superiority. It's when men say women are worthy of their protection, often off the sinking boat first. What the hell does that mean?
Like
or that they're more nurturing
like the Titanic,
than men.
like get women and children off.
Oh, okay. So preferential treatment.
Yeah.
Okay. So, or that they're more nurturing than men, therefore they should raise children. It's restrictive. Okay.
All right.
So that's benevolent sexism.
You're better at us than something. That's sexist.
Yeah. So this might be my favorite one. What is misogynoir?
Is that like misogyny against black women?
Oh my God! How did you know that? How? This segment's over. You're clearly
I'm
cheating.
sharp as hell. Let me just let you know that right now. I mean, at least they try to be slightly creative about it. They don't just say black misogyny.
Okay, so now I'm gonna just skip right into some ridiculous ones.
Okay, go for it. Misogynoir.
All right. So there's an actual feminist definition for women of color that I would like you to take a stab
There's
at.
a feminist definition of women of color.
Correct.
I think the definition of women of color is women of color.
Well, dum-dum, that's where you'd be wrong. So according to this,
Jeez.
this is actually on USA Today. If you guys want to Google it, it's USA Today Feminist Glossary. So, women of color is a political term to unite women from marginalized communities of color who have experienced oppression. It can include women of African, Asian, Latin, or Native American descent.
That have experienced depression?
Oh, no, I'm sorry, oppression.
Oh, okay. I was just like, dear Lord. This is very specific.
Yeah.
You can't be a woman of color unless you've thought about killing yourself.
Oh, God. All right. I'm going to do a couple more here just because they keep getting really good. The next one I'm going to give you is male gaze. And that's not gays as in gay people plural.
Yeah, I know. I know. I guess that's like men checking out a chick just without the wolf whistle.
It's a way of looking at the world through a masculine lens that views women as sexual objects.
Okie dokie.
Yep, that's what I'm...
Well, I don't even I feel like they'd be pissed off even without the second part of that definition.
All right. I'm going to end on this one because it makes me sad and I don't want to play this game anymore. So I would like you to define the word bro-procreating.
Oh my god. I mean, it's very clear. I'm thinking when a male appropriates the quote-unquote culture of women.
Close. It's stealing an idea from a woman and putting it into the world as your own. Bro-procreating.
Stupid. Okay, so I have two acronyms that I know of now that I learned recently.
Okay.
And I want to give them to you. I don't want you to look them up. Hopefully you don't know them already, but I want to see if you know them.
All right. Hit me with the acronyms.
What is a TERF? TERF.
Trans exclusionary radical feminist.
All right. You're well learned.
I'm wokus.
How about SWERF?
Well, you got me there. So I'm going to say the ERF is exclusionary radical feminist. So what is SW?
Let's think about last week. Let's think about Nicholas Sarwark.
Oh.
Quick. Who does he have to go to in order to get laid?
Sex worker.
Bingo.
Yes.
So I think that's enough. I think that's enough feminist. I'm going to call it feministing.
Feministing. That's good. I like that.
Yeah.
Well played,
Makes
sir.
Makes me think of things. But yeah. So I think we're good there.
Yeah, good job.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you for letting me show you how smart I am when it comes to feminist terms. Don't know what that says about me.
Just don't mansplain.
Thank you for having this little bit of fun with us and joining us on this adventure. That is the madness of our world.
And as always, please give us a follow on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and Patreon at thisismlga. If you'd like to send us an email, you could reach us at thisismlga@gmail.com.
Yep, hit us up, subscribe, and make sure to rate us on iTunes because that definitely helps us grow and it guarantees that we make more episodes.
Right, absolutely. And we'd like to just take a moment to say a special thank you to our friend David Derryberry from the Morning Drive with David podcast. He's a member of the MLGA podcast network and really loves Cam.
I mean, that's a fact. I mean, technically the MLGA podcast network was David's idea and we just ran with it. I mean, he's also taken the time to shout us out in excruciating detail on his podcast a couple of times.
I mean, I could use some more love, but I'm just happy we're getting out there. Now, if you're listening and you want to listen to a badass working man discuss the latest news that gets his goat, head on over to the Morning Drive with David. Again, that's the Morning Drive with David.
Right. I mean, the dude's entertaining. He's fun to listen to. Really, it's just fun to listen and think out loud and speak on whatever current issue just happens to interest him that day. I couldn't recommend it more. Also, if you'd like to join us in this endeavor and get a shout out or submit questions that we will answer on the podcast, hit up our Patreon. And don't forget to check out the MLGA network. We are a small and scrappy group of libertarians that share the best liberty podcasts on mlganetwork.com. Make sure to check that out. Also, we will have even more original shows coming your way soon. I've got one on the docket, actually two, that I'm behind the scenes working on that we are going to announce pretty soon.
Yep, so stay tuned for that. And we're just happy you're here with us, and we're happy to be here as well. And stay sane, everybody.